This tutorial is designed to teach you how to install Java Development Kit and Java IDE on your computer and start programming Java. Search for the JDK in Google. Go to JDK download page. Download JDK. In this part, accept license agreement and download the JDK that is suitable for your platform. This system is Mac OS X, so I download this one. While it is downloading, I go to download the IDE. Let me go back to Google. Search JetBrains IntelliJ idea. Go to the download page. There are two versions. Using your student email address, you can use Ultimate Edition. However, Community Edition is sufficient for our class. Download this edition. Okay. Now let's install the JDK while it is downloading the IntelliJ idea. Double click on this. Java Development Kit is a set of libraries that is necessary to have to start programming in Java. This development kit includes the Java runtime environment and Java compiler, which is necessary to compile your applications. Continue, install, insert your password, and close. As I mentioned, the JDK is a set of libraries. However, to use these libraries and Java compiler to make application, it is better to have an IDE, which is a small development, a smart development environment, which connects to your compiler, your libraries, and helps you to compile and run your applications. Double click on idea. I like this integrated development environment because it is more smarter than others, and it has a very nice interface. So I prefer to use this. IntelliJ idea, Community Edition. Double click on this. It starts verifying application, and yes, I trust this application. Open it. In this screen, it asks me to if I have any previous version of this software installed on my system. I do have, but I select no, I don't have, because when you are installing this software for the first time on your computer, you don't have any previous version of the software. Press OK. Select the good interface for your programming. I prefer the original interface. So for the key map, I select the Mac OS X 10.5 plus key map. Also, I can select this one. Create launcher script. I don't need that. Next. These are a set of tools that you can install on your IDE. These are usually set of plugins, set of tools. For example, you can have a UI designer, Swing library, Android development, version controller like GitHub, and other plugins that might be useful for certain type of applications. Next. So these are the other features and plugins. I don't need them. Start the application. In this page, you want to create a new project. Press create new project. Select the JDK that you have installed on your system. I go to new JDK, and in this part I should be able to install the corresponding JDK. So let me see. I go to Java Virtual Machines on Mac. As you see, it is located in Macintosh HD library Java Virtual Machines. All the virtual machines that you install on Java will be placed at this location. This is the virtual machine that we have installed, JDK 1.8.0 underscore 121. This is the latest version. Press open. So you see project standard development kit is selected. Press next. Next. Name your project and finish. The program is indexing the libraries and configuring the environment. Usually you see this tip of the day when you open the IDE. It is a nice tip, getting you familiar more with the features of the IDE. Every time it may give you a new tip. So it's not necessary to sit and study the IDE tutorial and see what are all the functions. Every day this tip gives you something that makes you more familiar with the IDE. Also, you might be able to go and use the IDE just by reading the menus. Example, we know that this is the main menu in IntelliJ IDEA. So excuse me. So you can go to preference. In the preference, you can see appearance, menus and toolbars, system settings, file colors, scopes, notification, quick list, path variables, key map, what each key does on this idea, editor, which is important. You can go to general and change the general setting of your editor. You can go to font and colors and change the configuration of the IDE. In plugin section, you see the list of activated plugin. Version control section is related to the version control. Build and execution. In this part, you can see the setting of the Java compiler, the debugger, and the other configurations. And this is the menu. You have file menu. In the file menu, you can go create a new project and create a new file directory. You have project structure. You can go to project structure, and if you have not set up the SDK, you can set up the SDK at this location. Also, I highly recommend you to go to project structure. When you have installed this IDE, select the language level to the latest version that matches to your JDK. My JDK is 1.8, so the language level should support Lambda and annotations for language level 8. Select this language level. So when we go to Lambda calculus, you don't have any problems configuring your environment. The modules, you see what are each color, what is the meaning of each color. In the libraries, if you have extra libraries that you want to use in your project, this is the location that you can add your Java library. For example, you may have some multimedia library that you want to use them here, and from here you include the jar file, and the library will appear here. In the artifact location, you can create a jar file from your Java application, which is a runnable Java application, and this jar file can be executed on any operating system that JVM is installed on. Platform SDK, at this location you can change the platform setting. If I have other standard development kit, I can simply go here and add them to my system. Also, in this location you see the details of the configuration of JDK. For example, I have class path, I have source path, I have annotation, I have documentation path. So you can add a documentation path. If you go and find the documentation location for the JDK, here by default it says you can fetch the documentation from here, from this internet address. So if I press OK, the documentation will be added from this address automatically. This is internet address. However, you can add the documentation by pressing this button, add, and go and add the documentation file, which is the zip file. However, you have to install that. In the source path, you see the source of your Java libraries. As you see, there are two sources here, src and JavaFX source. So these are now connected to my IDE. This IDE can automatically fetch the documentation from the source. So even if I remove this documentation path, because I have the source path, source document, source location, this IDE can automatically extract the documentation from the source. Now let's go and create your first Java application. Open your module, right click on src, new Java class. Name of the Java class should be welcome to Java. As you see, the name of a Java class starts by a capital letter, and it goes with cameling format. I don't use underscore usually. However, underscore is a valid character to use in the name of the class. Name of the class should not include any white spaces, and if it includes numbers, it should not appear at the beginning of the name. Press OK. Welcome to Java. Create the main method. This ID make it very easy for you to write a lot of statements and sentences very fast by just writing few letters and pressing tab. So for example, if I write PSVM, press tab, it automatically insert public static void main. If I write SOUT, press tab, it automatically writes system.out.println. Here you need to write hello world Java, and now I can execute this application. There are multiple methods to execute your application. One of them is to go here, right click on your application, run your application, the first method. Second method is to press here and run the application, or press here and run the application. The third method is to go here, edit configuration, and at this point you go and add an application. You name your application, my first Java app. My first Java app. Name of the name of the class. Welcome to the Java. Name of the main class. The good is, if you go using this method, you can add virtual machine options to the settings, and also you can send program arguments. Also you can set the environment variables. It's useful. These are useful to run your application using Java. So if I press OK, you see the configuration is here. I may have more than one configuration. This is one of them. I may have more than one of them, and all of them will be accessible here. Also, I can select good names for these configurations. Press this button and it starts running your first application. And as you see, it outputs the application in the console area. And it says the process is finished with exit code 0. When a process is finished with exit code 0, this means that there is no error in the process. So this was the first tutorial about Java programming language.